we ready to start?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. We're ready to start our regular town meeting. So, don't we usually do the Pledge of Allegiance first? Yeah, so we're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we'll do the roll call. They moved it? Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, so we'll start off with roll call. Ward 1, Commissioner Young.
Present.
Ward 2,
Ward 2, Henderson, present.
Commissioner Wheatley for Ward 3 is present.
Ward 4, Commissioner Givens, present.
At-large Brooks, present.
Thank you. All of our commissioners are present and accounted for. Next, we will have the reading of the election results. Is the election president, is the judge here, Mr. Richardson?
She's on election board.
Okay. Can the election board please come forward? We need you to read the results of the election, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, good afternoon, everybody. So we had two candidates, Ward 1, so
Yeah, because I got to hear you.
So we had two candidates. Ward 1 was Julia. At large was John Brooks. The winners of the elections are Julia. She had 40 votes, and John had 29.
And it's certified by the election board.
Demetrius Ramsey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramsey. So at this time, next, we will have the swearing in of our commissioners. We want to thank Commissioner Ann Young for her many years of service to the residents of Ward 1 and to the community of Cottage City. Thank you so much, Ms. Young. We will now ask Julia Chick to take Ward 1 seat.
No, she's got to get sworn in.
Oh, she still got, okay, well, I mean, if you want to still sit down, you can. It's up. Well, you both have to be sworn in. You,
John, you have to swear in too.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. Where are we doing?
right there.
They're from the court.
Okay, you want to put your left hand on the Bible, you're going to raise your right hand. We both are going to say aye. And then you're going to repeat after me. Okay, you ready? Okay, I'm giving her instructions. I'm going to speak very loud once I do it, okay? All right. Ready? I state your name.
Julia Salsek,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and that I will
and that I will
support the charter and laws
support the charter and laws
of Prince George's County,
of Prince George's County,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
Ward Commissioner for the town of Cottage City,
Ward Commissioner for the town of Cottage City, Ward 1 Commissioner for the town of Cottage City,
for Prince George's County,
for Prince George's County,
according to the Constitution
according to the
and
Constitution
the laws of this state,
and the laws of the state,
and the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
and the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
together with the charter and ordinance of the town of Cottage City.
together with the charter and audience of the town of Cottage City.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, very impressive. I mean, I'll probably forget that.
Just move on. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. We'll do the same thing. Raise your right hand. We're gonna say aye. You know, okay. Ready? Yep. I state your name.
John Brooks,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and that I will
and that I will
be faithful and bear true allegiance
be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland
to the state of Maryland
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and the laws thereof,
and that I will
and that I will
support the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
support the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully,
diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of
execute the office of
at-large counsel,
at-large commissioner
at-large commissioner for the town of Cottage City
for the town of Cottage City
in Prince George's County,
and Prince George's County,
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws of this state
and the laws of this state,
and the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
and the charter and laws of Prince George's County,
together with the charter and ordinance of the town of Cottage City.
together with the charter and ordinances of the town of Cottage City.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right, we have one more step. As you are here, if you can sign item number 2 for me, please. Right where, yeah. Over there, yeah. Okay, wait, not done yet. All right, so there.
One way I just bought a car because I'm signing one.
So let's go to you. Congratulations
Thank you so
again.
much.
You're welcome. All right, and your turn. You can sign over there. And one more. And this belongs to you. Congratulations again.
Shakira, we're gonna redo her. Julia, we're gonna redo because she needs to get a picture.
Stage it.
Yes. Right? Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and I'll see, well, I'll see you next quarter, okay? Okay, see you, take care, honey.
Right. You're are official. We shall see. Look, we shall see. So I see that we have County Council Member Jolene Ivy, Delegate Diana Fennell. They are both here to join us tonight for our election results, and I believe they both have proclamations for our new commissioners.
Okay, let me turn this around. First of all, it's an honor to be here. Before we even do the citations for our re-elect and newly elect commissioners, we also want to present something from the state that you all received. And as a commissioner, I want to be able to make sure that my son will be reading this. As you all know, I am not putting any strain on my eyes because they are healing. So I feel good about that. So we're going to make sure that before we do these citations for the re-elect, and also for Brooks and also for you, Julia, in reference to making sure that we make sure that the commissioner received the citation to the town of Cottage City. Jeff, you want to go ahead and?
Okay. Let me make sure this is good. The Maryland General Assembly official citation, be it hereby known, and all that in sincerest congratulations are offered to the town of Cottage City in recognition of being a recipient of the Chesapeake Bay Trust Grant, an amount of $70,000 for maintaining the vast free canopy and invasive training for the community. Best wishes in all your future endeavors. Presented on this third day of March, it says March 2025, by Senator Malcolm Augustine, Delegate Diana M. Fennell, and Delegate Julian Ivy of Prince George's County Legislative District 47A.
And you received that date because that's when you received it, but we wanted to make sure that we give this citation. Let me give the citation to them.
Okay, this is
Yes, so I want to make sure that you all receive this because first of all, congratulations, especially dealing with a gruesome year and session. We want to make sure that you receive it.
okay.
So we'll call it out.
Can I have Julia Sosset come up, please? Commissioner Julia Sosset. You want to say something first?
First of all, congratulations. I'm not going to prolong it. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you. And we have a citation from Senator Augustine, Julian Ivy, and myself. Jeff, can you read, please?
The Maryland General Assembly official citation, be it hereby known to all sincerest congratulations are offered to Julia Sosset, Commissioner Ward 1, in recognition of your election. We too look forward to working with you to make Cottage City a great place to work, live, and play. Presented on this 5th day of May, 2025, by Senator Malcolm Augustine, Delegate Diana M. Fennell, Delegate Julian Ivy of Prince George's County Legislative District 47A.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations again. Thank you. Congratulations. Hold it up. Hold it up. Come on out. Come on out. Come on. Thank you. Come on out so we can get a picture. Okay. You got it? Okay, you got it? Thank you. You too. Okay, now this way. There you go. All right. Okay, you're welcome. Let's do another one with Jolene. Why don't I do yours while you're up? Right, we're gonna try, there we go. There you go. Come on, come on. Let's stand this way.
Okay.
That Jolene. Okay. Do it like that.
This is an official citation from the Prince George's County Council. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are extended to Julia Salsic in recognition of being elected and sworn in as council member for Ward 1 in Cottage City, presented on this 14th day of May, 2025, by me, Jolene Ivy, County Council Member at Large, Prince George's County Council. Should we step over?
Can we, you want us to come this way, please?
Can we have Commissioner Vice Chair at Large, John Brooks, come up, please? Hello. The Maryland General Assembly official citation, be it hereby known to all that sincere congratulations are offered to John Brooks, Commissioner Vice Chair at Large, Town of Cottage City, in recognition of being reelected as Commissioner for the Town of Cottage City. We look forward to our continuing to work together to make Cottage City a great town in which to live, work, and play. Presented on this 5th day of May, 2025, by Senator Malcolm Augustine, Delegate Diana M. Fennell, and Delegate Julian Ivey of Prince George's County Legislative District 47A. Congratulations again. This is for you.
So come on over. Here we go. One more.
That's what they always say.
Prince George's County Council official citation. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are extended to John Brooks in recognition of being elected and sworn in as at-large council member in Cottage City, presented on this 14th day of May, 2025, by Jolene Ivy, council member at large.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Get over here for pictures.
Come on, Commissioner, so we
All righty.
Are we voting on chair and all that stuff?
Yeah, yep. Yep. All right, everyone. Where's that citation? Where's your citation? Okay. So I just want to let everyone know that we got this $70,000 grant due to the hard work of Commissioner Brooks and our town manager, John Holtzen. So let's give them a round of applause. Thank you both for working on that. Next, we need to nominate the chair for the commission. As we know, every election is a new year, new chair. So I'll entertain a motion for a chair, for the chair.
I nominate, hello? Hello? Oh, it's not working. I nominate, what happened? Oh,
We can't seem to get the audio or nothing working tonight.
hello.
Issues.
Hello. There we go. Okay, there we go. I nominate Wanda Wheatley for chair.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Brooks, second.
Thank you. The motion was made by Commissioner Givens, seconded by Commissioner Brooks. We will call for the vote, starting with Ward 1, and then we'll go around in order.
Ward 1, aye, yes.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Thank you, everyone. The motion passes. No nays or abstentions. I'll now entertain a motion to nominate the vice chair. Is there a motion for our vice chair? A nomination, I'm sorry.
I make a motion to nominate John Brooks if he accepts it.
And Henderson, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for your motion, and Commissioner Henderson for the second. We'll go around in order, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Commissioner Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Commissioner Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
The motion passes. There were no nays or abstentions. Congratulations, Commissioner and Reed, Vice Chair. Thank you so much. All right, now on to more serious business. Oh, dang it. Okay, are you willing to do that again? Yeah, I can do. I'm already on. Okay, I make a nomination for Commissioner Givens to be the Secretary of the Commission.
Brooks, second.
All right, so Commissioner Wheatley made the motion, Commissioner Brooks made the second. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
You guys speak up a little louder. They're saying in the chat they can't hear you.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Commissioner Henderson, Ward 2, aye.
Commissioner Wheatley, Ward 3, aye.
Commissioner Givens, Ward 4, aye.
Brooks, at large, aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. No nays or abstentions. Congratulations, Commissioner Givens. All right, so we have filled the positions for the commission, so now we can move on. So has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes for April? Yes, no, maybe? Any corrections, comments, edits, questions? If there's no discussion, is there a motion to approve the April minutes?
So moved as read. Givens.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Henderson, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens, for making the motion, and Commissioner Henderson for your second. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Commissioner Henderson, Ward 2, aye.
Commissioner Wheatley, Ward 3, aye.
Commissioner Givens, Ward 4, aye.
At large, aye.
Thank you. The motion passes. Approval of the financials. Is the town treasurer in attendance? I do not see. Oh, Todd, there you are. All right. So you have any information for us in regards to the April financials? Todd? No, it's very faint. Let's see. Let's see, because we really can't hear you in the room.
I can add a
Can
memo.
you talk louder in the mic?
How's that? Is that better?
Not really. We can't hear him up here in the front. Can you turn it up a little bit, maybe? Todd, can you say something?
Yeah, definitely. How about now?
No, that's too low. Give us a minute. We gotta adjust the audio.
Understood.
He said, keep talking.
Okay. I'll start and let me know what you hear and don't hear. Year-to-date financials look good. The town's up $55,000, meaning revenues have exceeded expenses by $55,000, which is great considering we're through month 10 of the fiscal year. So everything looks as expected, and we're on target to hit budget. Let me know if you heard that.
Yes, we heard you. Keep going.
Okay, that's the gist. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the gist of what I would call out in the financials year to date.
Anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you, Chad.
Great, thanks all.
Should we wait for the motion for Wanda to get back? Echo? Oh.
Is there a motion to approve the, is there a motion to approve the April financials?
Brooks, so moved as read.
Given second.
All right, so Commissioner Brooks, you made the motion, correct? And Givens, you made the second, so we'll call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsic, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Thank you, the motion passes. No nays or abstentions. Next, we'll hear from Chief Ayers' Public Safety Report.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. All right, for the monthly report, we had some break-in of vehicles last month. We are working with county police departments, detectives, as well as Bladensburg and Mount Rainier's detectives in reference to a string of spree of thefts from vehicles throughout the area. The main area that got hit the most was Laurel City. They believe it's the same group of people that's going around in cars into all the northern municipalities and breaking the cars. The person that broke the cars in that area was driving a black Jeep product. He was parked in the middle of the street, getting out, looking at cars and breaking inside cars or opening up the doors. We did go ahead and send out flyers to the community. We also sent out information through our social media sites. Ever since that break-in that occurred 2 or 3 weeks ago, we haven't had any car break-ins since then. We're trying to see if possible we can actually work with the county to actually start a task force to actually try to identify these groups. They believe it's an organized group out of D.C. They are stealing cars in D.C. and coming into Maryland, breaking in vehicles. In reference to our vehicles cutting through our town, we had our GPS or our mapping systems in the community. We identified Waze as well as Google Maps. We contacted these individuals. We asked them if possible for them to make our street a non-access street, which they did. Since then, our numbers of vehicles cutting through our town has dropped. We are enforcing traffic on Cottage Terrace in the afternoon to discourage people from coming through our town, and it's been very successful. We are working on the decals for people's vehicles. Once we get those decals in, we will send out information through Constant Contact in the newsletter for people that have registered vehicles in Cottage City to come in and get a decal. The decals are not for parking. The decals are just for us to see that you live in the town, so we can wave you through a lot quicker on Cottage Terrace in the afternoon hours. in reference to the security or patrol for trying to hire a security company. We did reach out to 5 security companies. Only one returned us a proposal. A couple of businesses had concerns in reference to the low amount of shift time, that they said that it won't work for them in reference to the low amount of time that we need to use them. So I have one proposal that I'm going to send to the commission for you to have a whole month to review. They also going to send me all their community contracts that have their people that provide security for us, and we actually do the background investigation on them. And we will discuss this next work session in June. Right now, they're trying to do 4 days per week for 5-hour shifts, starting at 11 to 4 in the morning or 3 to 8 in the morning, and on Sundays. So before 4 days a week, 5-hour shifts. And I'll make sure that, this be given to all the commissioners so they can review it, and we discuss it at next month's work session. In reference to one of our vehicles, one Cruiser 126, a Ford Explorer, one of the old ones, had went down. Is now with county for repair. We got the estimate back on how much it's going to cost, and these engine here gasket was blown, so I need a new engine. The price for the repairs is $10,530, which I think is kind of high for an older vehicle. So I'm trying to see if the commission will let me deadline this vehicle. I don't think it's worth putting that much money into a vehicle. I do have my fillers out to Anne Arundel County. They have some decommissioned vehicles that are still in good shape, low mileage, that they might donate to our town. So I'm working with them right now, try to see if we can get a donated vehicle to hold us over until a couple of years until we have to buy another vehicle. So that's what I'm working on, but I don't think we should put another $10,000 into a 2013 vehicle. And I was trying to see if possible that the commission give me authority to actually decommission.
So how many miles does that vehicle have on it?
I think it had 175,000.
Yeah.
But the engine they're going to give us is a brand new engine with 0 miles.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate for decommissioning a vehicle at this time because the reality is those vehicles cost $50,000 just plain, not outfitted or anything like that. You're going to spend another $15,000 to outfit it, if not 20. That's 70 grand. When we can conceivably put a new engine in it, if need be, and get another 8 to 10 years out of it. I can't see, especially when we're trying to cut back on costs. Because if you don't do that now, what you'll wind up doing is asking for a new vehicle in another year, and I don't see our financial situation getting resolved totally within the next year. So I would advocate at this time. I think that getting a new engine is better than with that amount of miles than changing and just fixing the head gasket. Because at that point, it's kind of useless at 175,000 miles. I'm just a little disappointed only because one of the advocations is for this take-home car program is that, people are going to take care of the vehicles better. It's, we're going to get more longevity out of vehicles. I got 2013. I got 230,000 miles on my truck, and I don't have no head gasket blowing. So head gaskets typically blow when people let the engines overheat and they keep driving them. That's a typical sign. And so it's a little disappointing that we're at this point, but, it is what it is. And I would just say that I'd prefer to get the vehicle fixed at this juncture. I yield back.
Yeah, so Chief, I have a question, because I think in March you had told us that starting April 5th, you were going to start citing individuals on Cottage Terrace with the through traffic. Am I correct?
That's correct.
How many individuals have been cited so far?
None, because we turned them around. We turned the individuals around.
Okay.
And like I said, the numbers are real low. We are just turning people around right now. We don't have the long lines that we had before. We haven't had a situation where we had to actually issue a citation. The people were willing to turn around and leave out the property. So that's what we're doing right now at this moment.
So this is my problem with that, though, because what I'm seeing the days that you guys aren't there, these same individuals are coming down, they're going down Bunker Hill, and then the do not enter traffic signs, they're blowing through them as well. So, I mean, there's a blatant disrespect for traffic. By whether it's a few or not, they need to be cited at some point.
Yes, we don't have a problem citing the individuals. The problem is with citing, if we have one of the officers citing that individual, 4 or 5 cars will go past. We tried to cite a couple of times where I was out there with Corporal Thompson, and I was out there with Marino. We stopped 3 cars, and while we were writing the tickets, 7 cars went through because we were out there writing tickets. So we thought it was best to go ahead and start turning people around, and that's what we've been doing. But we can go back to try to do the tickets again.
You can't cite right now. The reason why they cannot cite right now is they don't have the appropriate signage up and available. We ordered the sign. The sign company here is closing down. They're not making any more signs. The sign it's coming out of somewhere down the middle of Virginia, and we had to order it, and they had to ship it to us. I'm not sure if it's here yet, but if it is here, I haven't had the opportunity this week to go out and hang the signs, the new signs. According to Mr. Best, you can't cite without the appropriate signage. So that's partially as far as the citing, and you may not realize this,
No.
but part of it is that I haven't erected the new signage that's been ordered. So I got to check to see if it's in
Let
there.
me go with this then. Maybe we go back down to Bunker Hill, because, I mean, these individuals are clearly just not taking any of our signage seriously. They're going down to Bunker Hill and shooting straight through the area that says 4 to 7 p.m. So, I mean, they're not really taking any of our signage serious, and it's pretty disheartening. They're blowing through stop signs. I mean, what needs to get done to get them to stop?
Well, traffic, if you don't get the same people coming through every day, it's kind of hard to actually change behavior. Sometimes we do see the same cars come through. We will go ahead and try to back off from the corner and go. We'll see what we can do to try to alleviate that problem for you, sir. We work on some kind of way to address it.
I appreciate it, and even if it's sitting on Cottage Terrace and just watching, and when they decide to go blow through the, what is it, not local traffic, it's no through traffic. And watch them, when they do it, pull them over. I know Thompson used to do it all the time. He
What we
used
do,
to
we
sit down.
send them around, we put them in a parking lot.
But at some point, I feel like there needs to be some citations down there. It's, because if they're not following this one, they're not following the ones down here, they're not following the stop signs. I mean, at some point, something has to get done to get them to stop. And I think once they start getting citations, they're going to realize, look, the town takes it seriously. Thank you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Any discussion from Ward 1 or Ward 2?
None from Ward 1.
Yeah, Henderson, Ward 2. Chief, in April, it was about April the 1st, we had a work session. I remember you saying that you gave citations to residents that had DC tags, and you said 60 days to get the Maryland tags. I just want to know, and right now it's been, 44 days as of today, and those cars are still have those DC tags. So you have any update on that?
We can't force that into 60 days. So once 60 days come around, we would go out there and address it. We did have several people call in and said that they work in DC and they live in DC and Maryland. So I told them what they needed to do to contact motor vehicle to actually get the decal on their car. So when we start enforcing, they won't get tickets. But once we get 60 days, we're going to start issuing citations for those people that we are identify.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I want to go back to the local traffic. Have the permits been ordered yet?
Yes, they have. They've been ordered. So we're waiting for them to come in.
You know how long it's going to take?
It shouldn't take long. It should take less than a week.
Less than a week?
Yes.
And then you'll start passing them out?
Yes, we're going to go on constant contact, and also the next newsletter goes out. We're going to let people know to come down here. But they have to have their car registered in the town to
Right.
receive the
Sticker.
decals.
Right, right.
And that
So
will help.
it-
That will
is
help
it
us also with the out-of-state tax.
Right. Is it a hang tag or is it a sticker
It'll be a sticker that sticks on the window
that sticks on the window? Okay,
Yes.
up in the corner.
in the corner. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so you said about a week
Yeah, about a week.
before they come in.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I don't know if you can do this or not, and maybe Mr. Best can answer. Until that time, is it possible to like maybe put up a roadblock? So that when you're writing the citations, people can't just zoom through?
The problem was we had a lot of our residents getting very angry with us. We had a gentleman that got his car, walked all the way back to us and complained that we were interfering with him coming home because we were writing citations. And actually, we weren't writing citations there. We were writing warnings that day. We were writing warnings, and we just had traffic backed up all the way up to the top of the hill. So it's the point where it's a lot better now because of Waze and Google Maps have changed and said it's restricted street. So we don't have those people coming through with the navigation systems. We just have people that cut through that knows the area and normally cuts through here. They've lived like in Cheverly or something like that. We had those same people coming through. And those are the ones that we are turning them around and have them go back out. But like I said, we see if we can revisit hitting the citation and see if we can actually don't have the backup going back out to the street. Because that's the problem we were having when we were issuing citations.
So it sound like it's the repeat offenders
Yes, ma'am.
that are coming through
Yes, ma'am.
regularly because they know.
But we
This
are
area.
seriously inconveniencing them now because we make them turn around and go back out. So it's discouraging, but like Mr. Brooks said, Commissioner Brooks said, is that the days that we don't have anyone out there is when they takes advantage of it. They look down the street, doesn't see the cruiser, they come through. So we gotta find a way to, like you said, back off a little bit, probably go around the corner where they don't see us and see if we can start getting those same repeat offenders and start citing them.
So on the days when the officers aren't there, is that the day when they're not scheduled to work?
Yes, or they're on a call. Sometimes we get calls for service and stuff. When we get calls for service, we have to leave that post.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think we definitely need to discuss this further.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have something else, Mr. Henderson? No? Okay. Anything else from public safety?
If I like the idea that Commissioner Givens said for us to go repair the vehicle. I know for a fact we do have some revenue left in our maintenance budget for vehicle maintenance. So if you want me to move forward to repair that vehicle, I have to let county know as soon as possible. So if possible, if we can vote tonight to see if that's the consensus, to go ahead and move forward to repair that vehicle so I can go ahead and get that vehicle repaired.
Okay, is there any discussion in regards to Commissioner Givens' suggestion to repair the cruiser? How much is it to repair it? 10,000?
$10,503.
10,503 cents. Any discussion?
I think, I mean, just, you said 175,000 miles?
No, we would get a brand new.
No, that's what it had?
I think it was. Yeah.
That's what it had when it
Yeah,
blew, correct?
yeah.
I mean, just personally, I'd probably have a talk with the officers. That does seem
Oh,
very low in
well,
money.
she got written up.
Okay.
The officer got written up.
Then no discussion for me, thank you.
Ward 1?
So with repairing it, we expect that we would get about like 8 to 10 more years out of use of the vehicle? Is that correct?
I would suspect, but based on.
Well, to be honest.
Hold on, Chief. Let Commissioner Givens answer her question.
So I was shocked to see that the head gasket is blue. So I know that, I'm comfortable that we could get anywhere from, you should be able to get at least another 8 years out of it, and then at that point, we can go ahead and decommission it and so on, so.
Is that anyone?
That's good for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ward 2?
Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Givens about getting the repair, but I'm just hoping that, just what Commissioner Givens said, that was some really rough, that, whoever had that vehicle didn't take care of it at all very well, because it shouldn't have had that kind of, engine
I can explain. That's what I want to explain real quick. What happened was the vehicle was overheating. And when the vehicle is overheating, you have to shut the vehicle down. You cannot keep on driving a vehicle that overheats. It had a small leak in the radiator, and the officer kept on driving it. When you start driving it, the engine will overheat to the point where it'll lock it up and blow the gasket. That's what happened. So it was operator error. So that has been addressed. Like Commissioner Givens said, that's something that, shouldn't have never happened.
So I believe a repair, but I think in the future, though, it should be better monitored. Thank you. I yield back.
Okay, thank you. I agree with Commissioner Givens as far as the repairs, but I wanted to ask a question. So you said the officer whose cruiser it was written up for?
That's correct, because what happened was sometimes people don't know about vehicles. She saw it was overheating a little bit. She had someone put some more, coolant in it. But I told her when things like that happens, and it goes to the shop. And the officer kept on driving the vehicle. And when you overheat that engine, it blows gasket or damages the engine. So that's what happened.
Okay, so was the town manager notified?
Yes, she was.
Okay. No further questions? Commissioner Givens, anything? No?
You need us to entertain a motion to get it fixed?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because it's over my spending power.
Okay, so I make a motion that we repair cruiser 126 for the police department and with the county maintenance service fleet in the amount of $10,500 and what else? 30 cents.
Is there a second?
Henderson second.
Thank you. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsick, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. That was the end of your report, Chief Ayers? Okay. So we'll move on. Public Works.
And so I'm pleased to announce that we have identified a candidate for hire, and right now we're in the process of negotiating. We're speaking with him in regards to the start date and conducting his background investigation. And so soon that person should be aboard. And we'll take it from there. But for now, we do have a new contract in regards to the grass cutting for the town, as the commission knows and the citizens may not, that we did reduce our yearly cost for grass cutting throughout the town, which is takes a couple of different people to take care of it, from 17,000 and some change down to 10,000. So it's about a $7,000 a year change. What I do want to say is one of the things that wasn't not factored in, and I'd like to make, I'm not sure if John got the cost, is I did not factor in the tot lot. And so, I wind up having to go over there and cut the tot lot. It's just a strip of land. It shouldn't cost that much. So once I get the number from the commission, from John, back from the contractor, then we can consider that to be done as well. He is going to provide John with that information. So right now, I'm still waiting for the new person to come aboard before we go out and fix the trash shed. I mean, I guess that's a trash room or whatever it is you want to call it. And that's about all I have, and I'll take any questions for anybody that has right now. I yield back.
We'll start with Ward 1.
Ward 1, no questions.
Ward 2, Henderson, no question.
Ward 3, no questions.
At large, I just have one question. I heard something about the community garden now. Is that, could you?
Yeah, okay, so Denise Himmler had advised me that they had not cut the grass inside the garden. Now, I will say that that was not on the list in which the contractor was given, because I went around with the contractor, and to be honest with you, wasn't even aware that's something that the old company was doing. So, I said I wasn't aware. You can't tell me I wasn't aware.
No, it wasn't the company. It was Greg and Anthony. They would come through with the weed whacker.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't American
Well,
Landscape.
at some point, they started doing it because apparently at some point they started doing it.
They might have took it over.
Maybe just kind of like, I don't really know.
Let me add, because I see it daily. The contracted company did, in fact, a long time ago, take it over. It wasn't Anthony.
Yeah, they used to do
They
it.
might have used to,
Yeah.
but the last couple
Yeah.
of years, it's
So,
definitely been the
well-
contract, because they would go hit the strip, and then they would come out front,
Right,
and they would go
right,
inside. and it's
Right.
not bad.
So what was presented to the new contractor, that wasn't a part of the contract. However, when I posed it to him and the small area, he said, hey, I'm already down there cutting the other part of the grass, which was on the contract. I'll knock it out, no big deal, And so I appreciate the contractor, Shamrock, for taking us, giving us that courtesy, because I believe that's probably what happened with the old contractor. They probably just did it as a courtesy. Like, I don't know if you guys realize, but Bates doesn't charge us, nickel and dimes us for every little thing. They kind of give us a contract, and we'll take care of that. We'll take care of this.
So he's going to do it and not charge us extra.
That's correct, for that, yeah, because he's already down there. Now, the tot lot, we're going to get the pricing in regards to that, because he's got to take equipment over there. He's not already over there doing something. And it's not that much, but it shouldn't be that big of a fee. And I'll get that number to you. I'll get that number out to you. John.
No, my other thing is just thank you for leading the transition. I know it's a lot of work.
Can you
and-
speak up when you say that?
Please stop it. No, but seriously, thank you. I think the town, we see you out here all the time, and I really do appreciate it, and I know we all do. It's a ton of work that you're putting in. You don't have to do it. You're a citizen like the rest of us, so thank you.
Well, I want to thank the commission, because one of the things that the commission has, and I kind of brought forth to iterate, is we really needed a skilled personnel. So this is just not a labor that we're hiring. This is someone who can actually do things, who can build things. I'm a builder, not a builder of buildings, but I build projects and stuff like that. And that's what we needed someone. So we did a skills test. We actually had a written test. We did a practical test. And so we went through that iteration. And I'm proud to say that the candidate that we did hire, potentially is on the bubble to hire, is of Latino descent. So we're happy to welcome a member. This will be the first time we've had a Latino in our Public Works Department. So that's good, that we're continue to be diverse, and we're bringing someone that's skilled. Those trash cans, I just want to follow up on those trash cans that we bought. I'm just waiting for the new person to come on, because we have to build the concrete mounts for them so the trash cans don't fall over and stuff like that. And once they get on, so it's a couple of things I'm waiting for them to do, and we'll get that done together. I just don't have the time and the energy to do it by myself. So, but I'm happy to entertain any questions.
I don't have any questions. Ward 3.
Ward 1, no questions.
Ward 2, Henderson, just want to congratulate you too for your diligence and your hard work out there. But no questions. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move on. Next on our agenda is commissioner reports. So I know, Julia, this is your first meeting. So if you would like to report something tonight, by all means, go ahead.
I don't have anything to report. I've been going around and telling people in my ward that I'm the new commissioner, so hopefully next time.
No worries. Commissioner Henderson, anything to report?
I have no report at this time. The little I did, I just put out with the chief, so that was all I had. Back to
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to report anything out tonight. Commissioner Givens, anything to report?
No, I don't have anything to report, but what I do encourage is the commissioners in your wards to go around. This is something they used to do a long time ago. Just go around and drive your ward so that if there's anything that you see there that needs to be addressed by Public Works or the police department or admin, so that they can bring it to your attention so they can get it done before. We don't want to wait until the citizens come and bring it to our attention. We want to kind of be on top of it, so, because sometimes they won't even say anything, just expecting us to get it done. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks?
I'll make mine real brief. I think one of the things over the last couple of years I really want to see, sorry, I got chips, but, I really want to see us continue to push county to come out to clear all the drainages in town. I don't want to be the person to see, flooding in this town. So something I talked to Commissioner Givens about today, and I think he's going to give me a kind of a draft of where they all are, and I'll get the 311 tickets in. So we'll kind of team up on that and make sure all the drainages in town are cleared out. We had one at the end of Cottage Terrace we found that was buried under like 2 feet of dirt, which is nice to know. But yeah, so we'll take care of that and kind of make sure county keeps coming out to clear out the drainage. That's everything.
Okay, so I do have something for Public Works. Mr. Holson, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Holson?
I am. I'm here. I am
Can't
on.
hear you.
I'm right here. Can you hear me? Hello? I'm on the call.
Is he talking?
I'm here.
We can't hear you in the room.
Okay. I don't know why. I'll step in the room.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you at all. So, this week we had went over to Ward 3, and there's an alleyway behind, the houses on 43rd that the landscaper was supposed to be cutting. We had all agreed to that, but we found out that they haven't been cutting that area.
Well, send it to me. You could have just told me that. Yeah, send it. We'll work it out. Well, I'll get it done. I'll get it taken care of.
I know.
That's something that sounds like it's a small piece of,
It is, but I want to make sure that the landscaper is aware of it, because we had told American Landscaping to do it, and apparently they weren't doing it.
yeah.
And we have a resident who's a senior citizen, and she's been going out there cutting it
Okay.
herself, and I don't want her to do that
Yeah,
anymore.
that may, if it's not like too big of a deal, that might be something they can weed whack or something like that from our guys can take care of it. I don't want to overload, the what's it, but let me look at it. Let me look at it and get back to you in regards to that.
Okay, because
Let me look at
Mr.
it.
Best had, when it had came up last year, Mr. Best had checked, and he said it was our responsibility
Right.
to clean that area.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that that gets addressed. Okay,
Well, yeah, let me look at it too before, and so he can give us a price on that and.
yes,
and-
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Along
you.
those lines, I have one question.
Go ahead.
quick. So John, at the end of Bunker Hill, the one I've been fighting with for like 2 years, you had it escalated. Is there any updates on it? I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so before you go, we're going to go next to the Port Towns joint resolution. Can you talk to us in here? Because we cannot hear you back there in that office.
I will do
Can
it
you
right
state your name and your address of where you live, please? Thank you.
Want all my information? All right, I'll read it into the record, and then I'll give you some information about it. A joint resolution of the mayors and commissioner chairs, councils, and commission of the port towns of Bladensburg, Colmar Manor, Cottage City, and Edmonston to form a community development corporation, CDC, and establish a governance structure. So this is the resolution that establishes the Port Town CDC. As we talked about in the previous meeting, there's a $15,000 ask that goes with this. I did speak to Port Town managers, and they stated that there was some discussion about the $15,000 at, like, I think the meeting in Bladensburg. They said it was discussed, and I explained to them that I didn't feel that we were included in that, but that's all the information I received. So I leave it open for your discussion.
All right, so can you kind of bring Julia up to date on it? Because I'm sure she's not familiar with it.
Well, previous to, the Port Towns originally had a CDC. So they disbanded it because apparently I think there was some.
Can you state what the CDC acronym is?
It's the Community Development Corporation, CDC. So, and they work together to do projects and things of that magnitude. Apparently there were some issues with it, they disbanded it, and now they're willing to start another one for moving it forward. So they are getting a new name, they're gonna have hopefully a new branding strategy that goes with it, working with all the port towns. And so what they're asking for, and we're gonna be working with Common Resilience, is the name of the company, because they stated the town managers didn't have time to actually start the CDC. So they're going to be working with Common Resilience to actually create the CDC. And we've actually got a scope of work, and we're moving it forward and we're hoping to get $15,000 ask from each of the port towns to, for startup money for this, to get it going.
Any discussion? We'll start with Ward 1.
So my only question about this, and I know this was brought up in the last meeting, was that we are a much smaller town than like Bladensburg, but we're expected to basically put up the exact same money. So it's a bigger ask from us, it feels like.
What the managers had stated was they think that the mayors and the commission chair should actually have a discussion again, possibly, to see about that. So they think that that would be the best way to rectify this, would be to have them have a conversation. So at some point, I think that would be the best way to handle this, is to have them get together and do that, to figure out how they're going to adjust it if they need to.
Great question. Commissioner Henderson?
Yeah, and John, it says here that each town should do 20%. Does that mean that the other 20% is coming from a grant or something like that?
I was told that there's still money sitting, I think it's $12,000 that was still sitting in a fund that could be used towards this. So I do know that that is something that I think, according to the town administrator in Edmonston, had stated that that's a possibility we could use those funds to help with the startup. So, but that's something, again, that has to go with the discussion with the mayors and the commission chair.
I'm here if you want.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm Common Resilience Partners.
Great.
Okay. Okay, well,
That's why I wanted to show up. None of you recognized my face, so.
How are you?
You're on a roll, man. I don't want to get watched.
You get
Okay, only because my name's Tom Litke. I'm one of the co-founders of Common Resilience Partners.
Hey, John.
We're based out of College Park, but we've got a co-working space just across the border inside DC. We've been there for about 10 years. Our function is really try to improve placemaking and make sure that folks are back outside, getting to know their neighbors and trust them. That's really the highest of the goals, but frankly, that takes a lot of projects, whether there's stormwater management concerns, economic development. We've been working a lot in Calvert County. North Beach has been a client for a bunch of years, if you know Chesapeake Beach and North Beach. That was a little bit of a pilot project for us. It's worked out pretty well. And so I figured I'd check in with you all because the commute's a little bit better. I'm 2 miles away where I live. So that was the short and sweet of it. But just to address your question a little bit, there are other funds, but Common Resilience is a nonprofit. We're actually going to kick in other words, we reduced our rates 20%. So in other words, we see ourselves as partners with you. We're not a retail organization doing this. We take on just 1 or 2 projects every so often. And so we all lower our rates 20%, consider it a pro bono approach. So yes, we do ask for you to find your checkbook somewhere, but it's not for as much as it would be for a, shall we say, a retail consulting team. So, fair? Okay. Going back, I'll be
Thank
right
you.
here though.
Back to you.
So, thank you for talking with the other town administrators. I agree with Ward 1 Commissioner Julia. We do need to have a conversation because I've spoken to a few people, and Commissioner Givens, you were around back then. My understanding that it was based on each municipality chipping in based on their size. So Cottage City and Comar Manor didn't give the same amount as Bladensburg or even Edmiston because they were larger and they had a bigger budget. So that was the practice back then, is that not correct? So if it's changed, then we need to have a conversation and we need to agree to that before we just go and cough up the $15,000. I'm not saying that I don't want to do it, but I think we need to have a conversation about it first because it needs to make sense to Cottage City. That's good to know. Thank you. All right. Okay, so our treasurer put in the chat, he recommends asking for a budget. Is the only contribution $15K, or is it a $15K contribution annually? Tom, can you answer that?
Thank you. The general conversation was, to be honest, there's a certain amount of work where I can't get the engines pumping strong enough. So generally speaking, we anticipated that it would be about 60 hours a month, about half time, so to speak. And that would get you about $4,000 a month for 6 to 10 months. As John had referenced, there are earlier funds, I believe Bladensburg and Edmiston have already kind of ponied up just so that sort of May 1st, let's get rolling. But we do know that your fiscal year starts July 1st, right, here? So if you feel like your numbers or your amount's not available till July 1st, you're fine. But that was sort of the understanding of the contract is however far the 4 groups go, you should anticipate it's about $4,000 a month for all groups combined. It's not for eternity. Our intention is to fill the gap and then kind of clear out with time. We're not looking to be embedded as your long-term consultants or things like that.
Okay, well, we've gotten so much information from you tonight.
Hey, sure.
Thank you.
This is what the easy part of the commute is. I told you, right?
I mean, I'm glad you're here because we've learned so much just from you tonight. Had this been presented at one of the quarterly meetings, I don't think it would have caught us off guard as much because this is all new information.
Because you were supposed to be at the last one.
For the record, I was invited to the last one, and then a week beforehand. I said, okay, so what do you want me to talk about? They said, we had it last night. We voted on it. I said, okay, well, I get sensitive, you know. You have to invite me to the party on the right day, and then I'll show up. There you go. So anyway.
I think we voted on starting the new CDC. We never discussed the financial side of it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're still kind of confused.
Honestly, I'm as available as many questions as you like. It's your time. I mean, I appreciate that everyone's out here on the
Chair
evening.
Wheatley. I had a question. Will there be articles of incorporation filed with SDAT?
Yes.
For the new organization?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's worthwhile to kind of talk a little bit, kind of what you get for that 4,000. It does include articles of incorporation. I think it's in the best interest of all parties, and again, I'm not a long timer. I'm not here to kind of relive whatever didn't work out with the past group. We've been in this role before. We'll set up new articles for you, new bylaws, new governance documents. From what I understand from the 4 towns, most likely I would assume at least 2 people are represented from each town. Who they are, not my business, that's your business. What else can I think of? At least 6 to 9 months to get 4 committees rolling. We've made sure that they're in line with your Sustainable Communities Action Plan, because I'm sitting back there writing you a grant right now to get funds that are due Friday for an application. So that would be possibly leveraged funds to make this go even further. The other 2 of the towns so far that had meetings, Bladensburg on Monday, Edmonston last night, have voted yes so far, not to put any pressure. But that's part of it. The setting up of the 4 committees is you all share certain concerns, right? Transportation, infrastructure. We don't plan to save the world. We're here to kind of help you get everything set up and running. We don't dictate policy. We're here for implementation. What can we do to kind of get things back in order, get your committees? I've probably helped form at least a dozen nonprofits over my years, whether it's the paperwork or the actual formation and kind of rallying the troops. Whether you choose to be volunteer-driven or elected-driven, again, not my business. I just know what I know in my field and what I can do to help out.
I assume you're with a corporation or LLC
Yes.
yourself, your firm?
Yes.
And what's your firm's legal relationship going to be with the CDC?
With the CDC?
Yes.
I'm one of the co-founders. So the LLC itself is a nonprofit in the state of Maryland. We've been providing over my career 20 years of small business support is really where I cut my teeth. I rehab buildings, historic neighborhoods, things like that. And then over the years, it's been very successful. We've been in DC doing that for about 20 years.
Will you be an officer on the CDC?
No. No,
Well,
I'm kind of your, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good title. Yeah, I shy away from the word consultant only because it sort of like suggests, hey, here's what you all should do. I'm here to take your request.
But your firm will be contracted with the CDC and provided various services for the port towns, is that correct?
Well, for now, it's really the formation, so it's the 4 towns are my client, the way I see it. And once you've got your CDC up and running, I'd like to think that's where I start to recede, right? I'm no longer needed to fill in the gaps. You've got an up and running organization. Hopefully 9 months, but, I know we're being recorded. Please, don't come to my house just yet. We'll see how it goes. But, like I said, I just live up Kenilworth Ave, so. So that comes to mind from a legal structure. One of the other partners is an attorney. Another fellow is construction manager. We pull from a lot of different people. We have an insurance agent. A lot of times, we just help rebuild a pantry in North Beach. Totally unrelated, but you do have a bunch of volunteer little old ladies kind of asking me, how do we get insurance for a $1 million project that DHCD funded? Suddenly, I'm pulled into that conversation, right? So I'm very open about the things I know and the things I don't know. We shy away. If we don't have a contractor who can help you with that, we wish you well and help you find that person, so. Great. So yeah, scope of work, that's kind of it. This is obviously a resolution to kind of support the efforts that we're going into here. So like I said, I shy away from sounding like it's a sales pitch, but I guess kind of is a little bit, so.
Okay. Is that it, Mr. Best? Okay. Commissioner Givens?
So I've seen the CDC operate in the past, and some of it's been a rough road, like you said.
Right.
I'd like to support it, and because I think there's a need. We have a number of places here in town that are become unoccupied, right? And so we need viable businesses because it's not just about them paying property taxes, it's about these buildings not being blighted and creating a bad look on the town, as well as services to the town. And I know that, John, I think you were speaking, so there's an opportunity here to
Right.
get, for these vacant places and to coordinate with them, because the other thing people don't realize is CDC goes out and they actually get money from, I don't know how much money they're going to get now, from the grant fundings and stuff like that to help support them. So they're not just supported off of the monies that we put forth, but they are supported by other grant opportunities from the state, from the county through the
Yeah.
state or whatever, however that works.
I very much agree. Your funds are priming the pump.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then, so I anticipate our annual cost will be less. However, I want to make sure that the town is benefiting from this, and that we're going to, because what the reality is, Bladensburg has most of the businesses. You know, they have a large swath of the businesses. I would say Colmar Manor is the second swath of business on the forefront. Right? We do have a business park back up in here.
Right.
And then Edmondson and ourselves are neatly tucked away within our communities, although they still need support as well. So
Right.
again, I'll yield back, and I want to support this, but I want to get some clarity, like you said, based on our size and our contribution on an annual basis.
Sure.
You know. So thank you.
So before I go to you, there's a comment from the treasurer. Todd wants to know, what are the revenue streams?
You. Now, it's difficult to sit here if you've not met me and know my background, but I'm as much grant strategist. North Beach, in my side time, I raised $1 million for them in a couple of years to manage that pantry rebuild, to address some stormwater management issues. That's a town of 2,000. Calvert County is a very different creature. But like I said, I've worked in both rural and urban settings, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a question of your culture, not mine, on how we do that. Revenue streams, you know, I guess humble brag, I've probably raised $25 million in DC and managed those. I've probably rehabbed 200 storefronts. And when I say that, I mean everything from procurement to architectural drawings to construction management. And again, it's not me, I'm not swinging the hammer. But it's worth knowing because I'm really kind of a bricks and mortar, closer to that. I'm not here to develop your policy. Those funds I've raised, primarily Department of Housing, Community Development here, and then when I kind of cut my teeth doing this in Boston. It's worked out pretty well. It's ended up being a career, to be blunt. I've been doing this for about 25 years. I like what I do. I prefer to work with communities I can understand, and I kind of joke. For the record, I do not cut through your town, totally take the road, you know? So I listen, I pay attention here. So, but I come right down to it a lot of times. But from a revenue point of view, I've been a Main Street director. I was one of the first urban ones in America, and these were neighborhoods that were absolutely disinvestment. And we were able to have the vacancy rate, do a lot of different projects. I've got some construction background, so I know how to do storefronts. But I almost feel like I'm stepping on John's toes when I start talking about some of these functions I do. Can I write grants? Yes. Most people get jazzed about that when you're kind of at a cocktail party because they think you can solve all problems. But I think you should consider me more of a strategist in the sense that I know where DNR hides their money. I kind of know where DHCD puts theirs. And I recommend things to you, and if you have the time and the resources, then we go chase them. And that's kind of how I did it at North Beach, using that as an example for this.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks?
Yeah, I echo a lot of the sentiments that Commissioner Givens said. I want to make sure that this benefits us. But I said what I said the last meeting. I don't like other people to dictate how we spend our money, and they should be going to John as our town manager and meeting as a group. And I don't like that at all, that somebody comes and says, your portion's 15,000. So I do think you all maybe should get to the table and maybe we should discuss that, because that's not okay, and that's not a way that I want us to move forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for your time. So appreciate it.
All right. John, you have the floor.
So, no, it was up for a vote tonight. If you guys, how do you want to proceed? We've read it into the record. We've had discussion. I know that you probably still need to have a discussion with the mayors, I think. So,
Is anyone ready to vote tonight? I know. I'm just asking the question because he's asking the question.
This is Brooks. I'm not ready to. I think we need to table it and we need to get more information. And we need to be brought to the table before we can continue. Thank you.
So, Commissioner Givens, you're in agreement? Yes. Okay, so the consensus amongst the five of us, we're going to table it, and we need to have a discussion
That sounds
with
great.
the mayors.
Yep. Do you want me to set that, try to
Please
set that
do.
meeting with you, with the
Please
mayors?
do.
Okay,
Please
okay,
do.
okay. I'll work with the town and managers to get that done.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Next, I can bring it up on mine.
Can you do that? Okay.
I'm a co-host. I can do it. I just gotta share my screen.
Oh, good. Next item is composting. So last week, we talked about the composting.
Can you see it?
Yep, that's the composting information starts there. So I was able to get some clarification from Edmiston regarding the composting. So composting is only for 20 people in Cottage City, just to make everyone aware. So it's for 20 residents that will be able to sign up for the free composting up until November. After that, if you scroll down, I think there's the pricing in there for continuing it on. I think it's like $27 to $30 after November, where we can get residents to sign up for composting. So this is something that, you know, if you guys decide to move forward, we would have to look at after November, continuing the program for the 20 homeowners, but also seeing if we want to add additional.
Is that the section you're talking
Yeah, that's the section right there. It says $27.82. With the cost savings from the selling the shipping containers spread over 2 years, the monthly per home cost would be $27.82. With the cost savings spread over 3 years, the monthly per home cost would be $30. So,
Okay, so you need us to vote on this tonight as well, right?
yes, so I
Okay.
can let them know if we want to participate in the grant program.
Right, so we'll start with discussion with Ward 1, Julia.
So my question would be, if we go through with the free, like with the grant, we can then make a decision later about if we want to pay, like going forward, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
No other discussion?
Commissioner Henderson.
Because will they purchase shipping containers?
Part of the grant program is they would receive the shipping container, the container that they'd be using for the composting, they receive that. That's part of the grant program. But after November, that's why we would have to revisit it to see if Cottage City wants to actually pay to continue, which means we would have to find out about the shipping containers and all that at that time.
Okay. And that would be, monthly per home cost would be $30, $360 a year. Okay, thank you.
But it's free up to November.
Yes, yes. Only for, but that's random for the, what was it, how many people was it?
20.
20. Yeah, random. Okay, thanks. Back to you.
Okay, so I support the project. I mean, it's a grant. We don't have to come out of our pocket right now. I know this is something that some of the Green Team members have been advocating for a composting in our town. So I support it. I do think if we decide to continue it after November, we need to figure out where that money is going to come from, whether it's another grant or if we put it in our budget now. But I do support the program. I think we should do it.
And I do feel that we could get a grant to continue the program if you all decide to do that. We have ample time. It gives us a chance now to actually apply for something and hopefully get it so that we could continue the program past November, which I think it's doable.
And the good thing is that'll give us enough time to pilot it to see if there's a real interest and if people are participating correctly. So I support it. Commissioner Givens, your thoughts?
Yeah, so you're asking after the grant is over in November, that the city, the town, to pick up the bill, not the individual resident whose house they're picking up from.
That's, like I said, we would have to revisit it after the grant period is over, which is November.
Well, no, I want to get to the crux of where the money comes from, because the question is, are we, because it sounds like it's about $800 or $700 something, correct? That sounds about right? Is that right?
It's about right, yes. I mean, we need to, like I said, we need to look at,
Is it $30 a month? Or
it's
is it,
$30, it's $30 a month,
so it's $30 a month?
right, per house. And depends on how many people want to sign up for it, because that's the thing. Afterwards, we're not locked into just 20 people. We could extend it. So depending on who would like to sign up for the program. But see, that's why I think it's important that we look at grant opportunities between now and November, so we could, in essence, start our program and get that moving.
Yeah, but tonight, you're only asking about
For
the
20
free-
homes for free.
You're just
Right.
asking for 20
homes for free.
That's going to be paid for through the grant.
That's right.
That Edmiston has already received.
That's right.
So
We're not putting any money out of our
I don't-
pockets.
I'm trying to, he's trying to get an answer. Are we going to participate in the grant?
So I just did the math, so I don't know about the math. 30 homes, hold on, $30 times for one home for 12 months, and then you times that by 20. That's $7,200. I can't buy into that. Because, not for it to sit up there and winds up going into something, and then we get activated into something, and then the citizens, and then we get locked in, and we wind up having to pick up the bill, because we didn't get the grant, and now we're asking, and we got other needs.
Okay, so that's a no from Commissioner Givens. Commissioner Brooks?
Let me just make sure I understand. Right now, we're only talking about this grant until November. We're not talking about after that. After that comes September, October, whatever. Will you entertain a motion? I make a motion, we move forward with this grant that's at no cost until November. We do not move forward until we make a vote closer to that time.
Thank you for your motion. Is there a second?
Henderson, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson, for your second. Call for the vote. Ward 1?
Ward 1, Salsic, aye.
Henderson, aye.
Wheatley, aye.
Givens, aye.
Brooks, aye.
Motion passes. No nays or abstentions. Thank you, everyone. What's next on the agenda?
3rd, I think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I got it. I got you. You can send them to me.
Robin?
While Robin is talking, you can email them and I'll bring them up. Welcome, Robin.
Good evening. How are you?
Hi.
I'm here in person this time. All right. So since the last meeting where we presented the project, I met in the field with Commissioner Wheatley and Mr. Hotzen. We looked at the existing homes along 43rd that had existing downspouts or sump pumps that were already extended basically to the street or to the back of the sidewalk where there was concern about water flowing over the sidewalk. So as part of that, we've made a change to the plans, which you all should have, the updated plans, where we are showing that we will install a pipe system under the sidewalk that would connect from either the roof downspout or the sump pump and connect it to this trench drain system that we're installing. That would stop the water from flowing directly across, or discharging right onto your sidewalk and flowing across the sidewalk. And everything else will still function the same. So that is the change from the set of documents that you all saw at your last meeting. So we did make that change. And so Ultimately, we're bringing this to you all to vote to approve so we can put it out to bid, to get a contractor, to receive bids from contractors and go to construction. There is a grant deadline that the construction has to be finished by the end of, Mr. Hosen was able to get an extension by the end of September is the absolute latest. They will not extend it further than that. Part of what we did discuss in the field, though, about these pipe systems is, as we did with the other 3 projects, there are certain parts where, like the alleyway work, some of that goes onto the resident's property just slightly to be able to make a proper tie-in and transition. And so there will be a letter that those homeowners will need to sign in order to document it properly for the piping system in the front for those homes that have the downspouts or sump pumps. There was the question that came up in the field that we would need to discuss of who would be responsible for maintaining that piping system. It is within the public right-of-way, so it's the town's right-of-way. The pipes would be under the town's sidewalk and tying into the town's trench drain, so you guys can see where that comes from. So the reason for that question is so that we can word it properly in the letter. On the screen now are some photos of some of those downspouts that we're talking about. Let's say in the top row, the left 3 most start dealing with 3710 43rd Avenue. At this residence, there's 2 downspouts and a sump pump discharge. They come through a little retaining, it's like a landscape retaining wall that's right at the back of the sidewalk. So the detail that we're doing is we're bringing the pipe underneath the sidewalk. We'd have, basically, it would turn up to create a little standpipe with fittings that the pipes would then, the contractor would connect the pipe into to make that connection to the trench drain. And then the top row leftmost photo also shows the corner of 3712, which is the little white circle pipe. That's a sump pump discharge there. And then the top row rightmost photo and bottom row left photo are the other locations for 3712. So you can see the different conditions there. There is 2 downspout pipes that are there, as well as the sump pump connection. And then also the other photo, the bottom right-hand corner, 3714, the downspouts, there's 2 black flexible pipes that carry the downspouts from the front of the house and the rear of the house on this side of the house directly to, and you can see the grass is basically gone, it's eroding. That's from that constant water, or the water being concentrated flow there has eroded that. So again, we would do the same sort of situation. There would be a longer pipe connection for this house to make it to the trench drain, to the limit of trench drain that we're installing, because we're taking the trench drain up to basically the high point in the road. We don't want to cross over that high point because then the trench drain would not flow properly. So this house does have a longer pipe system to get there, and it would also have a parallel pipe system. So because the roof downspouts are running in 2 separate pipes right now, what I don't want to have happen is we just arbitrarily combine it into 1 pipe, and it doesn't have the capacity to handle the water coming off that roof in a heavy rainstorm and backing up and causing any flooding, other issues. So we would put a parallel system, 1 for each of those pipes to come through to take it to the trench drain and tap it in. It would all be underground, you wouldn't see it, but I just wanted you to be aware that there is 2 right there. The other homes where the downspouts extend out at different points, at each location where it comes, that's where we would make a connection to it. We picked the locations, like as you can see in the upper right-hand corner at 3712, you can see the black pipe, but you can also see a large tree right next to it. So the connection would be right behind the wooden retaining wall, but we would not be extending the piping further up into their yards because we don't want to cut that tree's root zones, which would effectively kill that tree, especially when it'd be cutting on both sides for 3712, 3714. So we're leaving, right now we're only proposing to have the pipes pick up right behind the sidewalk and carry it through. back into the yards, we wouldn't be going any further than that. It technically is still a portion in their property, and that's why we would need those letters that John would be coordinating with the homeowners to get signed. But it would limit the impact into the private residence on there.
All right, thank you, Robin. Any discussion, Ward 1?
Ward 1, no discussion?
Ward 2?
Do we already have a proposal already out?
I'm sorry.
Do we already have a proposal?
You mean from a contractor? No, so what we're looking from you all is to approve these plans and the specifications so we can advertise to get the proposal from the contractors. So if you all approve it tonight, we will issue it out. John will be posting on email and marketplace as well as your new website. I will also be forwarding it to the contractors that we had forwarded the previous 3 projects to solicit those proposals from the contractors. This does have to be advertised for 30 days per the grant requirements that is funding this project. So it's a very tight timeline at this point to get it advertised, get it for 30 days, get it awarded, and get construction done before September 30th.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to ask, so project is going to service 6 homes in the town of Cottage City, correct?
This project, well, direct connections to those things, yes. But this project originally started to deal with the icing issues that was occurring on 43rd
Right.
Avenue.
Okay.
Now, a lot of that has been resolved, especially the icing issue that was occurring at the intersection with Bladensburg Road when 2 things happened. One, SHA came in and redid the paving there, the grading, so it wouldn't trap water, and the county already came in and added the storm drain inlet that the trench drain would now tap into. This project was started to collect that trench drain or collect the water that was still running in the gutter pan as a constant base flow and icing in the wintertime. So that's what that trench drain was for. The adding of the pipes are just to address the other concern that came up of having the stormwater flow across the sidewalk. But this project does include replacement of the curb and gutter along the entire length of 43rd Avenue, mill and overlay of the whole road. There's also the alleyways that go, it's parallel to Bladensburg, and then it goes up behind the western houses on 43rd. Along the alleyways that go behind the commercial properties, there's a lot of areas that we're seeing, I get, for simple terms, potholes developing because of the heavy truck traffic. So those are going to be replaced with heavy-duty concrete pavement there to deal with that maintenance issue that's happening. And then the alleyway up behind the homes on the 43rd will be repaved, and it will also have a curb and gutter put along there to help direct the water down the alleyway and out to 43rd instead of going into the backs of those homes, which was causing another issue where some of the houses were having sump pumps running almost continuously in the wet times of the year. So this project is going to serve all the residents on 43rd in the fact that they're getting a new road. But not all will have the direct piping because there is not existing downspouts or sump pumps discharging right to the street.
And so the trench drains will be tying into the county stormwater system that's in the municipal right-of-way?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have a permit that we're waiting to be issued for the actual connection to the county. They've approved it. We're just waiting for that formality, but that's happening while we're hopefully going to get this out to bid, but we'll have that before we start construction.
Will there be any grading permits obtained?
None needed, no, because the rest of this, we're not changing any grading, and the rest of most of this falls under maintenance.
And how much was the grant?
Oh, do you remember how much the grant is?
Oh, I can't. I have to look it up. I don't.
And the grantor is?
We have DHCD, and we also have EPA. It's the one we got the earmark from Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, is that it, Mr. Best?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, I really don't have any questions because we did the walkthrough already this week. But can you talk about the criticality?
The Critical Area Commission?
The critical area.
Yes.
Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah. So at our last meeting, there was a question raised regarding that. So the next day after that meeting, I called the Critical Area Commission to talk to them about it because this was all maintenance, so we weren't changing any grading, we weren't adding any impervious area, it was all pretty much the same. There's not they told me that there's not a permit that we need, but they do have a process to basically show that it's to prove that it's consistency and that we're documenting it in their system. So we are proceeding with that to get that resolved while this is out for bid, and so that we'll be good by the time it goes to construction. But it's not an exact permit, but we are just doing the due diligence to follow those steps, and so it is in their system that we are just replacing in kind.
So basically, we're just doing maintenance.
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner Givens?
Yeah, so I just have one question, because the alley that we're talking about is a mess. So, so you said you could put a gutter on the side. Would it be more advantageous to slope, an inverted slope towards the middle and have it come down, and have both sides come to the middle and the water transfers down on the what's like that, as opposed to a crown?
Well, we're not doing a crown. So in the alleyway, we're only doing gutter on one side. Right now, the alleyway slopes from one side towards the back of the residence on the 43rd.
Oh, okay.
So on that lower side,
So
at
you
the
just
back of
put a
that,
gutter along there?
right? And that's just going to channel the water along the alley down to the 43rd Street and then go in there. Yeah. And I do want to say, just to put it on record, is it's going to channel the majority of the water. It will not capture and channel everything, but we're hoping to alleviate some of the pressure off of the backyards and the home sump pumps. We had originally looked at when we started this project, looking at trying to do a storm drain system to really capture everything. But because of all the existing utilities, where they were located, we didn't have enough horizontal or vertical clearance to those utilities to put an actual storm drain inlets and pipe system either in the alleys or up the street, 43rd.
So an inverted system wouldn't work there either? Like an inverted road, slightly inverted onto the right and the left, and going to the center and coming down there, that wouldn't work?
I'm not saying that it wouldn't work, but it'd be a lot more construction to do that.
Okay.
And then once the alleyway there, it comes down, it tees into the alleyway that goes behind the commercial buildings. So once you get there, now you got to still tilt the water to one side or have to redo that whole alley. So we're just kind of matching what it is. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Commissioner Brooks?
No, I think John's been working his tail off to try to get these grants to fruition, and I don't want to hold it up anymore. Will you entertain a motion?
Yes, sir.
So I make a motion to move forward with the request for proposals, Town of Cottage City Stormwater Management, RFP number CC-2025-01.
Is there a second?
Given second.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks, for your motion, and Commissioner Givens for your second. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. We are good to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin. And thank you for joining us in person. All righty. So, next up is the street sweeper. Are you doing that, Commissioner Givens?
Yeah, so we've had this discussion in the past, so we'll just revisit to everyone. If you have a chance, what's the name of the street sweeper? Yeah, so there's a video online that you can go to and observe the street sweeper in action. What it is, it's a pull-behind street sweeper, brand new. It's $20,000, and what it does is it gives us the ability to get all the trash as well as the debris, the tree debris, which we've got a lot of trees. And right now we're going through a season in which stuff is falling, but it's even worse come the fall. And the reality is, in years past, we've had 3 people working in Public Works, Greg, Anthony, and Mike, and they've trenched along and been able to blow the stuff from time to time, and they still got complaints, where it's, the stuff still, massing the streets because it's always continuously coming back. So here's an opportunity to have this pull behind. It's much cheaper than a drivable street sweeper, which they start at a couple of $100,000. We can't find these used. I've looked, and then this is a machine that you really don't want to buy this used. You want to purchase something and it's a one-man operation. You want to purchase it new. It's very limited in the amount of things that require it to work. And so I think, and it's another opportunity for us to approach towns like Edmondson and Colmar Manor, because they're of similar size, and provide that as a rental to them, perhaps for $500 for 3 days for them to do theirs per month. And so if you did the math on that, that equates to about $6,000 if they were to buy in, and then, it would help pay for the cost of it. We're looking to do more. And can you hold on 1 second? Can you just give us 1 second? We're taking on a new public works person, only one person at this time, and we're asking them to do more with less. And we still have a responsibility to get these streets clean. One of the big problems is that the debris goes down to these storm drains, and there's got to be at least 20, throughout the town, if not more, that are throughout the town. And if we do this on a monthly basis, I think we can help reduce that down to and allow the water to have better stormwater drain management and stuff like that. And this is a particular product that we'll get, like the leaf machine. We've had that for over 20 years. We'll get 20 plus years out of it easy because it's very minimal in its operational use. And so I would advocate that the commission put forth, and if you don't want to put forth I think it's cheaper. Here's the deal. When you have a savings, you want to go to your savings and buy these one-time assets. You don't want to go to your savings and have operational use for your ongoing things, i.e. Salaries and so on and so forth, because now you're dependent on your savings to be able to cover that. These one-time purchases are ideal for that. If the commission opts like, hey, although it's in the budget now, if they say, hey, let's pull that $20,000 out and let's do a monthly payment. Well, we're going to have to pay finance charges, so it's going to cost us more in the long run. However, I could concede to that if it's going to make people feel better about getting it, but I definitely think it's something that's needed. And I'll say this. The only reason your streets are halfway clean now is I got out there, and thank you for offering the use of Officer Perez to assist me and in driving the vehicle while I sat in the back of pulled the leaf blower, the leaf machine, and sucked up all of the debris. And and so that was a lot of help, but that's not sustainable. Perez, that's not a part of his, what's the name? And we can't depend on that. And so here's an opportunity where you wouldn't have to depend on anybody. Just you need the person to come to work, in Public Works, and put it on the back of his thing and drive around. We'll still do like I did before. We'll put signs down the road on one side, no parking on Thursday from, 9 to 2, street sweeping in effect. And people will begin to honor that because they want to keep the streets clean too and address the stormwater management. So I think it's a good opportunity and something we should definitely consider. Thank you.
All right, so we'll go around the room. Ward 1.
Ward 1, no questions.
Ward 2, Henderson, no questions. I'm for it.
Ward 3, no questions.
You guys are always going to make me look like the bad guy. I've talked to you respectfully. I just don't think it's the right time. I think we have a budget that's projecting a deficit at the end of next year. I just don't think it's the right time. I think if we do get extra money from camera tickets, et cetera, do a budget amendment next year. I just don't think right now is the best time. So I would be in that.
So let me speak to that. Ideally, what you have to consider is when do we have the most need for this type of equipment? In the wintertime, it would be lessened, right? Because you're going to be doing snow removal and so on and so forth. The ideal time is during the summertime. You know, you got this new person to come on. You know, I'm telling you, I'm not going back out there and doing more. I mean, I'm killing myself. And it's a lot. And I don't want to overburden this one person who is skilled, who will have the ability to go somewhere else in light of if he feels like he's been overworked, overburdened, and provide his talents and skills to somewhere else. We got to be thinking and be fair to the employee too, as well as get the work done of the community. We have a responsibility to keep these streets clean. So in light of, I understand we have budgetary issues, but tell me, give me a plan to keep these streets clean. Beside, well, because we can't afford it. We got the money. There's no question whether we have the money or not. It's just a matter of, do we want to pay for it? And if you don't want to pay for it, what is your plan to keep the streets clean, as opposed to just saying no?
So when we went to the contracted services, that was one of them. It was to do all the leaf cleaning and everything else. But then I would say this to you, because we really don't have the money. What are we going to take out of this budget to pay for it? I'm okay. If you guys want to look around the budget, find an area, but let's pull something. We cannot keep paying and buying new things.
Yeah. So
without taking out. You take something out, and put something back in.
Well, this is a one-time purchase. Again, we have to look at, do we have the money? If you didn't have the money, if you want to finance it, I can concede. I'll concede to that. I have no problem with that. And we can pay it off early with the extra camera money. But we have a responsibility. You know, we can't just say, well, we're going to let the streets go dirty because we don't want to pay for it, even though citizens know we got the money in the bank to pay for this, to keep the streets clean, you know? And so we got to have a plan. And the plan can't be like, well, no, you know, because you're not telling me the plan. You're just saying, well, I don't want to pay for it. You're not telling me a plan.
I did not. We had contracted services for almost everything, and that was our ideal. We said we were going to get rid. We were going to have one public works person, and then the rest was going to be contracted. It was going to make everything more efficient at the town hall. I mean, did we not? Please tell me if I'm wrong.
No. I want you to know, because what you're saying is the things that you're saying. Let's not convolute the situation, you know, because the things that you're talking about is what we agreed to was the leaf collection and the snow removal, right? That ain't got nothing to do with keeping the streets clean. You know, that absolutely nothing to do with streets. Matter of fact, they don't even start leaf collection until sometime in October. So hold on. So now you're talking about going back out and getting a contract to get people to keep the streets clean. You're still talking about money. And I'll tell you, if you get a street sweeper to come in here to clean these streets once a month, it far exceeds the cost of what it would cost us to own our own piece of equipment and what's the name. So that's not a solution. I mean, it is a solution, but it still costs money. It ain't free. So you're saying let's not clean up until the fall, until when the leaves fall, and don't clean up no other time? The other there's only 3 months in which we do leaf collection. That's it. So what about the other 9 months, 10 months?
We both live on Cottage Terrace. You tell me how many times in the last 5-6 years that they had somebody down there cleaning Cottage Terrace streets.
And you complain
until
constantly.
Until fall when the leaves fell.
And you
how many times? I'm asking
constantly.
how many times did they clean the streets?
Yeah, and so they did blow the streets. I know for a fact, and I don't know how many times.
Leaf collection time.
No.
I've never seen them do it outside.
I've seen them. Yeah, those things that fall off your tree. I don't know what it is. Those trees down in your area.
Oh, maybe that time, but that's a part of leaf collection.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's falling down. It's all over the town now in different places. But let me digress.
It's a leaf.
Let me digress to your point. Your point is that what about the trash? What about the cans and the leaves and the people the debris that people throw? So you're saying you want one person to go around town and pick up constantly trash. I'm not even talking about the debris that goes into the stormwater, because Wanda will tell you, because I specifically showed her, the debris that's sitting in those stormwater management and the stormwaters down on Bunker Hill and Parkwood, is 3/4 of a way full, i.e., which makes the water, when it comes down, it can't reach the desired location. And so if we go through this iteration about the county and having to suck up the vacuum out, you have to be realistic. They just told the chief they can't even come down here until June. And that was a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Wait,
And
wait,
so-
wait, which project, though? Be clear of which project that was.
Which is a part of it.
Which one? The end of Cottage Terrace? Or Bunker Hill? Okay, they're way different projects. You ask them to come out and just clean out one of these drains, they're not telling you to till June. You've put in tickets before. They usually come in about 3 weeks to a month. That's a whole different thing, because they have to dredge stuff out. If they're dredging and if they're actually putting that thing in there and sucking up the dirt, way different thing. You can
got
put in a
20,
ticket 3 weeks.
You've never had in the town, I'm telling you. I've been up here for 30 years. You ain't never had, we got at least 20 plus, we got at least 20, we got at least 20 plus stormwater drains here, and more than that. They ain't came out and sucked out 20. I'm telling you that for a fact. Now, they come out and did a couple. And then the reality is, the stuff that's in those drains is the stuff that's off our streets. I mean, and we're putting that stuff in the streets. We're not creating an environment in which we prevent that. And what I'm trying to do is prevent the problem from occurring to the degree that has occurred, you know? And because what the reality is, when that stuff backs up like that, you have water retention and you have mosquitoes, which was, it's truly a mess. So anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. I'd like to just get, I wanted to debate you.
I do want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
Like I said, I would love to have this piece of equipment. The county thing, that's not, you're always going to, unless we were running that machine nonstop, you're always going to have runoff. The runoff is not our issue. It is something we, no, regardless, whether we have this equipment or not, county has to come out and do it. It's their drain.
From time to time.
And we'll have to do it. We have to go through at some point, and I think I've told you many times, John, that we need a list of the drains, and we need somebody. I'll do it my damn self. We need somebody to put in the 311 tickets so county can come out and clean them. And when they do it, they do a really good job. And now at the end of Cottage Terrace, again, that's a way different issue. Bunker Hill, way different issue. They need to come in and dredge, and when they do that, they take forever. But that has nothing to do with a street sweeper. But I'm just saying, anyway, I agree. I like this piece of equipment. I just don't think it's the right time. And, yeah, so I'll still be at the same juncture.
So with that being said, has anyone changed their mind? Does anyone agree with Commissioner Brooks?
So I thought in the last meeting that Todd said that he'd already put it in the budget for this.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
You have 3 or 4 who are good with it. Commissioner Brooks is going on the record, he is not good with it.
That's correct.
So we'll blame Commissioner Brooks if the streets don't get clean from now until we get the street sweeper. We're going to get him out there. We're going to get you out there, you know?
So, Todd,
Yes, I
leave
can
it
hear
in,
you.
you can leave it in the budget.
Okay.
Wait, how many people were for it?
4.
4.
And this is, and just so you'll know, just so you'll understand how this operates, when we have a discussion during the budgetary process, there's usually some type of consensus. If the people are against it, then it becomes a conversation whether we're not going to put it in. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens is you pass the budget all in one iteration. So whatever is in there that we've kind of come to some type of consensus, meeting of the minds, you know, then that's kind of how it goes. And at the time, I will say this, in your defense, at the time, perhaps you didn't have enough time to think about it and come up with those things, but you did not voice any disagreement and concern against it.
No. If I remember correctly, we discussed it,
Yeah.
but we didn't even come to a consensus.
Yeah.
Did we?
I
don't remember us coming to, I just remember it showing up, you know.
And people were saying it was a good idea. I remember him
We
saying
had the
it.
discussion, you were against the ATV or whatever.
Right.
And all
And
that
that's
other
not,
stuff.
and we're not doing
But
that.
we never did it for the cleaning. I swear, we never said
Did
as
you
a
not
consensus.
say that it was a good idea, Mr. Henderson? Yeah. And I always even reach back out to even ask Commissioner Young if she recalls the conversation about cleaning the streets. you know?
Okay, a conversation, but I don't think we came
Yeah,
to a
but we
consensus.
don't vote. That's not how it
Not a
operates.
vote, but even a consensus. I don't think it was even a consensus.
Yeah,
I mean, if I just
well, did
bring up,
anybody
hey,
disagree?
I think we should
Did
go
anybody
get 3
disagree?
new police cars. I mean, should that show up in the budget next time?
You should
No.
voice concern or dissent.
I did.
Not at the time, no, you
I don't know. So we discussed the sweet streeper. I can never say that. I don't know why I get so tongue twisted. Okay. Second reading, ordinance 2025-02. Mr. Holson?
So this is the second reading for the budget tonight. We do need to get this passed because we have to report to the county the new tax rate as well as to the state. It is due by Friday, so we do need to move forward this evening with passing the budget. I've had the paperwork in my office. I've been working closely with SDOT to get everything so far has been approved. Our newspaper posting, our website posting has all been approved by them. They're just waiting for you all tonight to pass this budget so that we can get the paperwork turned in. But I will read it into the record, then we can go ahead and, Todd is on the line and have conversation. Ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the Cottage City Commission to adopt a budget and levy property taxes for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. And I'll leave it open for discussion.
So last week when we met and we discussed this piece of equipment that Commissioner Givens requested, we didn't have the full budget. Half the column was cut off. I have not seen a full budget yet. Has anyone seen the full budget? I know we need to do this, but I need a budget in front of me. I don't have that right now. Can someone provide it?
Yeah, let me speak to the misunderstanding. With all due respect, John, what's required by the state and the county is that piece of paper they sent giving us having decided the tax rate. We've already decided the tax rate. That's what needs to be turned in by Friday. The actual passing of the budget doesn't legally have to be done until June 31st. And I know this for a fact because it has to be passed before July 1st. The document that you're required, they don't require that you pass the budget by Friday. They require that you have made a decision as to what your tax rate is so that they have the opportunity to go through their iterations of sending out tax bills and so on and so forth. So with that said, to give you as well as Todd the respect and opportunity to provide the commission with the full documented paperwork, I would advocate that because we've already done what you've requested, and it's a one piece of paper. I think it's with the number on it, and you need to turn that in, and we've already made that decision. That's already been decided. So,
Commissioner Wheatley, can we consult the attorney on that? I think we have to pass the tax rates with a vote, but let's confirm.
So there's a correction that needs to be made in this document anyway. It's on, what page was that? What's the page number?
It's page 1, or I'm sorry, page 63 of the packet. It's
Oh.
page 1 of the,
It's the last whereas?
it's
No,
regarding.
it's the second to the last whereas.
Yeah.
It says the current real property tax rates for the town of Cottage City were set for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 at the rate of 0.4538 for non-commercial real property and at the rate of 0.6735 for commercial real property. That's for last year?
That's correct, and
Because
that's
this
the
year we said
format of
commercial
it.
real property was 0.72.
Commissioner Wheatley, can you hear me?
So I guess my question is, are the dates correct? And is the number correct?
Todd, are you on the line? He might be trying to speak and can't be heard. Yeah, he's trying to speak, but he can't.
We can't hear you, Todd.
Yeah.
It's correct. My audio seems to be bad. He wrote, it's correct.
So did that answer your question, Commissioner Brooks? Or no?
We referenced the prior year tax rates in the legislation.
So that's what I'm saying. This is from last year.
Yes, it says we reference it in the legislation. That is correct.
So where's the reference for the current year or the new year, the upcoming year?
That's in the operative clauses under section.
This one right here?
Under section 2, further ordained, further ordained, further ordained. That's where the new tax rate is set.
Oh, I see it. You see it right here under the, go to page 65 of the package. And then right below it, you'll see it.
Oh, right here. Okay, I see it. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, we got it. It's on page, the second page. So it's no need for us to vote on this tonight, right? We don't need to vote on the budget tonight, and I can't vote on it until I see it. So can you get a copy
It
of the?
says, and let's confirm with the town attorney, I believe tax rates. Something. I'm trying to read the comments. Can you pull up the comments? We can see what he has to say.
I can read it, but if you want to see it, there it is. Can you see it? Why is it not showing?
No, that's not the tax rate. Oh, I see.
He said, and let's confirm with the town attorney, I believe tax rates need a finalized with a vote. Need to be finalized with a vote.
Of course they do. Someone said that you had already approved the tax rates? Didn't
We did.
Commissioner Givens?
Yeah,
We did it last week.
By what form of legislation or motion did you do that?
We did a consensus.
What was the mechanism you used to approve that?
It was a consensus.
We did a consensus. Yeah. But we need to do a formal, or we don't need to do a, you could, if you want to redo a vote, we can do
Really?
that now. Because that's not a big deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You-
But I'm not
voice
passing this
resolution,
budget.
You know, but it's not.
Yeah, I'd
the
recommend,
Tax rate gets passed.
I'd recommend you do Robert's Rule of Motion for the tax rate,
Okay.
but you're not bound
Right.
by that. And it's, it's something I've not been happy with the county, that forcing all the municipalities to report these things, when they should know that charters don't require this to happen until the end of the end of the year. And it really puts a lot of municipalities in a jam to do that, but I won't spend a lot of time on soapbox there, but yeah, just put a motion in, and then it will be, the final official will be when you pass the ordinance. And by the way, Commissioner Wheatley, you don't need to have the detailed line item budget to approve this. This ordinance is simple for a reason. It has the major line items in these boxes for the expenditures and revenues, and it alleviates you from having to abide by the 2/3 rule every time you tweak your detailed line item budget. Because there's a provision in the local government article that says you cannot amend your budget unless you have a supermajority vote. So you avoid that pitfall by having a very simplified budget in the ordinance.
Yeah, that's fine. I still want to see the budget at some point.
Yeah, how does it total up with the?
Oh, absolutely, you're gonna wanna approve that
Yeah.
at some point, no
I
doubt.
want to see it. All right, so if someone wants to make a motion, they can.
I can try it. Well, just let me know if I'm not correct. But I make a motion, we move forward with increasing the commercial tax rate to 0.72 cents per $100 of assessed real property value.
You got to keep on, because you have the town tax.
There's three
rate.
tax
There's
rates.
three tax rates. It's personal property tax rate and the residential.
you can just say, make a motion to approve what's written in those 3 recitals and move on. It's just a voice vote.
Okay, I make a motion to move forward with what's in front of us in ordinance 2025-02, an ordinance of the Cottage City Commission to adopt a budget and levy property taxes for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Does that work?
Really?
Let me just do it. So we can get through it. I make a motion that we increase the commercial property tax rate to 0.7200 per $100 of assessed value. In regards to the real property tax rate for non-commercial property, which is residential property, the rate shall be 0.4538 per $100 of assessed value. Further ordain that the business personal property tax is $1.35 per $100 of assessed property value. That's it.
There you go.
Is there a second?
Brooks, second.
Okay, Commissioner Givens made the motion and Commissioner Brooks made the second. Call for the vote, starting with Ward 1.
Ward 1, Salsek, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Givens, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. We will move to our next agenda item, which...
Point of order.
Yes.
If you could entertain a motion to table that ordinance. It was supposed to have a second reader today. It'll be second read and approved at the next meeting.
Okay, someone wants to make that motion? Okay, we're going to table ordinance 2025-02. So what's the next one?
The next item is translation services. We went out and we were able to secure 2 quotes for translation services. Each one would provide like a language line that when people call into the town hall, we could then get interpretation.
Okay, we'll start with Ward 1 for discussion. Any discussion?
Ward 1, no discussion.
Ward 2?
John, do we have any sample cost for the organizations such as Cottage City?
I do not. Like I said, this is just something we've been trying to go out and get some information on because we know this is something that we would need to, we wanted to have 3 quotes for you tonight. Unfortunately, we did not have them. And we also think it would be a good idea if we could do a demonstration, maybe have someone come in to have them present to you all, to let you all see it. I just don't want to go do more legwork on it if this is something you don't want to consider. So it's good to kind of, hear from you all as to how you all feel about it and then go from there.
Okay.
That's kind of what this is about.
I really do think it would be good if somebody would come in and maybe give a demonstration.
Demonstration?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I agree with Commissioner Henderson. Commissioner Givens?
Yeah, so it's kind of ironic that the person who's making the complaint don't even speak Spanish. It's not. We don't have a lot of a Latino population here that's coming here like they don't understand what's going on. You know, their kids, they've raised here. They have plenty of opportunities to figure out how to operate. And it's even more so, what we've been an advocate for in this town is the diversity and within our employment. We specifically go out and we recruit those people that have the opportunity to speak Spanish, to assist in these types of issues. So I think I've never, and I know quite a few Spanish people in this town, and I interact with a lot of them that don't speak a lot of English, and we do well in communicating, and I don't think we've come into a problem in which they see it as a problem where they can't communicate what their needs and their wants are through the town. All of this costs money, right? So we're putting forth something that nobody is interested necessarily, because there's no population that's coming forth and saying that we need these types of services or want these types of services. When if they have a problem, they come up here. We have people who come in here who work for us to help translate. And the chief will be attest to this, because he's used his personnel in his office that speak Spanish to be able to assist us in this. So, and then, you got Google Translate, and you got docs and stuff like that, and everything is pretty open and open source now. So, I think that in the future, if this becomes problematic, then yeah, we can come back to address it. But I don't see going out, spending a whole lot of energy and time and funding for something that's not necessarily I think we should continue. What I think we should continue to do is consider what we've done in the past is the ESL classes, English and ESOL classes, and joining with Comar Manor, because they have a program up and running, and perhaps pay for our residents that are interested. And because what happened is our numbers dwindled down over here, which we kind of at some point we got a teacher here, and we're spending money, and then the numbers dwindle down. It makes it not worth the time, that we're spending if you only got a couple of residents. So if we send our residents over to Comar Manor to their program, we can continue to pay for that, and I'm in support of that. It's the type of things that I'm in support of. I yield back.
Commissioner Brooks?
Yeah, kind of along those lines. I would ask, have we ever reached out to the Spanish-speaking residents to see, is this something they want? We saw a meeting a couple months ago about the Cottage terrace, and they were pissed, and they came out. And, you're fully familiar on Cottage Terrace. Like, they'll let you know in mid-run. They'll stop you and let you know. And so I would like to know if this is something that they're interested in. I know we hear from one resident, but I would like to hear from them. Maybe we could put out Spanish flyers saying, hey, is this type of service something you're interested in? I ran the numbers. It looks like $130 or something, based off of, maybe a short meeting of ours of 3 to 4 hours. But I would like to hear from them and see if that's something that they're actually interested in. Not other residents on their behalf, but actually hearing from those residents. So maybe we could put out a flyer, in Spanish directed towards Spanish speaking and probably other languages, because we have to open it up to everybody else at that point too, and it has to be in multi-languages. So let's open it up to everybody and see if they want more services with translation, and try to bring them into the town hall, and then we can start looking at this. Second thing I would say, have we talked to other municipalities and checked with them? Like, what services are they using for their town meetings? I know a lot of them have Spanish speaking, at the town hall, but we should check with them and kind of see, how do you guys engage residents and bring them into meetings? Because I think all of us want to see it happen, but we want to do it the right way, and not just chucking money at things to make it happen. We want to do it legitimately. Thank you.
So I'm going to read some comments from the chat. One, some folks cannot hear. They're asking if you could speak louder. They say they cannot hear the discussion. Another question from Cynthia Henderson. What is the volume of calls received in Spanish that cannot be addressed?
We only get about 2 to 3 calls a week that are like where we really can't address their need. Oh, we get about 2 or 3 calls a week that we really can't help, like because of their language issues. But it's not really an abundance of calls that come in, and we're not able to assist them. So, and ultimately, if we have someone in the office, we have utilized chief's officers before. If they're available, we can always do that. I know we also did purchase a one of those translating items, but unfortunately it didn't work, so we had to end up sending it back because it didn't do us any good. We thought that would be a way to remedy the situation, but it just didn't work out for us. So, yes, which will be wonderful.
All right, is that it? Okay, what's next on the agenda?
We have been approached. We have a resident in town who sadly has would like to come to town hall and work with us on a temporary basis. We were in a meeting the other day, and it was brought to my attention that they're looking for work, and so I bring before you tonight. I'm hoping that we can bring on a temporary office assistant in the admin office to assist with our backlog of minutes, working on possibly planning of Cottage City Day, as well as working with the old firehouse. So that would be a great help. So I bring it before you tonight for some discussion.
Can I, before we go around the tree, so we don't have to waste a lot of time?
Go ahead.
We already approved this. Why are you bringing this back? We granted you approval.
I was asked
at the previous meeting, and it was and you had the steed to go move forward. So I don't think we should be rehashing this. Did you not recall him say that he needed help in admin? Yeah, and we gave you the authority.
Okay.
So let's not kind of keep beating around. Get it done.
I was asked to put this on the agenda, so I'm just calling that out.
I asked you to put it on the agenda, and yes, he was approved to do this, but he can't just do it without talking to us first because it's a specific person he wants to put in place. So we need to discuss that in a closed session before he hires the person, so that you guys know who it is.
Yeah,
But we'll do that in the closed session.
okay.
Anything
all.
else? You have the next agenda item.
I don't really have any updates tonight. I just had it on there just in case we did. So there you go. Make it short. We got a lot to talk about in closed session, so we got to get to it.
43rd. Ask about 43rd. Ask about 43rd. You got the chief here. What's going on?
Oh, thank you. The house on 43rd. What's going on with that house? I know they got a warning.
The abatement process
Code.
for that
I'm talking
house
about
down at
code.
the end, right, coming off Bladensburg Road.
Yes, Officer Perez has put out. Yes, Officer Perez has put out one violation notice to them. He has 5 days. After 5 days, he gave another one. So if they don't fix it within the next 3 days, because we are in the process of that 5 days now, in 3 days we should be able to issue him a citation and go out for abatement.
No. So it doesn't.
You're talking about the grass cutting, correct?
It doesn't work like that. So what happened is, first of all, the property's vacant. So putting notices on the door, you're wasting your time. Hold on, just let me finish. When you have these types of problems in which you have some bank or something like that, what you have to do is go ahead and go through the process of sending the letters out to the registered owners.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
That's what he did.
To the registered owners. And then at that point, it's not about writing nobody no ticket, because at that point, you're talking about court. It's about abatement. You begin the abatement process. So you have to get that clock going. Hanging things, giving people warnings, you're kind of wasting the time. You know what I'm saying?
But we have a process. If you want to change,
I know what the process is.
If you want to change the process, we can change the process. Commission has the right to do that. But you have a 5-day warning period. So we have to give them 5 days first. Then we got to go out again. If they violate the 5 days, we give them another 5 days and I'm going by what's
It's
on.
subjective. Okay, so, and I'm
I'm going by what's on the ordinance. And when we
That's not what the
give,
ordinance says. That's not what the ordinance says. I'm telling you what the ordinance says. I know because I've been here for 15 years. And I know, I've been through this whole abatement process. Over and over, the
Yes.
legal aspects of it. We can have this discussion offline and get you back on track to what the proper process is. Because the warnings that we give out to the residents is a courtesy. That door hanger is a courtesy that we enacted, right? That's not mandatory. When you have a property that's vacant, we already know ain't nobody living in there. So why are we going, it's fine to go out and hang the what's name, but you also need to be sending the letter,
But we
you
do-
know,
see,
so
I'm
that
saying
you
that's
can begin the clock.
like I said, we tag the public and then we send a letter out to the resident owner on the DStat. So we go online, find who the owner is, the mailing address, and we mail out a letter there also.
Have you done that?
Yes, we have. So we have to do that process before we get abatement, because when we go to court,
That's
we
right.
say, how do we warn the owner that other violation? So we are doing both. So we put a thing on there and we send a letter out.
Chief, can you speak up a little bit? And
So you-
Commissioner
so-
Givens, can you let him finish before you,
Yes. so-
please let him finish.
So what's the process we have is that we have to go out there and give them the proper warning to cut the grass. So that's what we did. That's what we did. And so we did mail it out to the address we have on the documents that Prince George County has. So that has been mailed out. We did it twice. So now, after, I think Friday, after that, we start the abatement process. They issue a citation as well as we start the abatement process, where we actually go and have our town put it in the court, so we actually get authority to actually go cut the grass and have our landscape company go and cut the grass. And what we do is we put a lien on the property. And that's what the process is.
Okay.
But like I said, I can show you.
No, I know what the process is.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
But that's what he's doing right now.
No, you kept saying giving warnings. I'm talking about
No.
the door tags. I ain't-
Not warnings, but like notice. Notice that you're in violation. Violation notice. So that was sent out
registered
twice.
mail, yeah.
So first one was done, and nothing happened. The second one went out after 5 days. So now we're in that process. Friday, if nothing been done since then, we start the abatement process in the citations.
When is the abatement gonna start? What day?
Well, it's up to the courts.
No, it's not.
Well, we,
Yes, it is. You have to get an abatement order.
we have to order for the courts. We just can't go on people's property in South
Well,
Carolina.
what day is the court date?
Well, they're assigned to us.
It hasn't been or has?
No, it has to be assigned to us. Once we submit it over to the courts that they're in violation and we want to abate the property, they would give us a court date. We go in there, show the evidence that we have, and they go ahead and give us permission to go ahead and abate the property. That's when we could go on the property and cut the grass or remove items off the property that we need to remove and bill the owner of the property.
What
It's a
date-
process.
What date are you sending it to the court?
Friday.
This coming Friday?
This coming Friday will be the 5th day.
Okay, so once you send it to the court, then you have to wait to get a court date from them?
Yes.
How long, and you don't know how long that's
No.
gonna take?
No, I haven't. Because it's been a while since we did one.
About a month.
I'm sorry?
About a month.
So a whole month before that grass can be cut?
Yes.
That's why we cite at the same time. That's why we cite too.
Let me just say, if you don't like the process that calls for abatement in your ordinance, and you want to move from a judicial abatement process to a administrative abatement process, you need to amend your ordinances. But you're going to have to afford due process.
This is what I'm trying to say. If we were doing it wrong, and now you're saying we're doing it right, I'll concede to that. But I'm here to tell you, it wasn't what you're talking about. We were doing it we had a lawyer, Mr. Calarisi. And so we've been doing abatements, not waiting for a court date to come back. You know, there is a process. I know there's a judicial process, writing the ticket and this thing going to court, and then, and the judge says, well, give them more time. No, we had, and so maybe again, I don't know where, if it was rewritten or if it wasn't rewritten, but that's something we should go back through and review, okay? Because if it's necessary, because this is taking too much time. I mean, we're wasting a lot of time here, and the town is looking a mess behind some of these properties that are blighted like that.
The grass is up to the fence. now. And all this rain we're getting, we gotta wait another month. The grass is gonna be up to the roof. This is ridiculous. I don't see how we can wait another month. If we gotta change the ordinance to make it administrative, then we need to do that. Because this is an emergency. It looks a mess. And I don't know, rodents, rats, snakes, or what is in that grass.
We do have a workaround, and Mr. Best could talk about this workaround. If we can show that the property is at risk for danger, the town manager has authority to actually abate immediately. It's called emergency abatement, and that's in our ordinance. That means if a vehicle is there that's on a block and it's going to fall over on a kid or something like that, the town manager has authority for us to remove that vehicle.
It's just high grass
But then you
on a foreclosed property or to be foreclosed.
But if a property is feel unsafe, like the door is left open, somebody can grab somebody on the street and pull them in and rape them or something like that, that's an emergency situation where he has the authority to go ahead and board it up. If you get to a point where the grass might be too tall to the point where people can hide drugs or guns or weapons and stuff like that, if we can articulate, we can actually do emergency, cut it. And that's in there, but you have to articulate why you want that property. It has to be an emergency situation.
You don't know the bank that holds, because somebody.
It's not a bank. It's a person address we send it to, that.
I know, but what I'm saying is, they had a mortgage. I know who the person was. Okay, I don't know where they're at now, but I know who it was, and I think you know who it was too. And so they had a bank. They had a bank, a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And someone's is going through the process, and the bank, and so we need to find out. We need to do some homework and research to find out who has that. What's the name, so that we can reach out, because they have
land records. I can call land records to see who has the lien on the property.
So we can reach out to that bank, so that we can get them. They'll send somebody out to do this stuff, but they ain't coming out. They got a million places, that they're dealing with. But if they're not going to do it unless you contact them and say, hey, we got a problem here, we're going to start fining you and charging you. They don't want that.
Okay, I'll look into that tomorrow.
Because they usually de-winterize these properties at some point, And it may have been, if it's de-winterized, they'll have a sticker in the window. Then that's your company.
Okay.
Winterize it, not de-winterize.
All right. Is that the end of your manager's report? All right, so we'll go to public comments. If there's anyone in the public, you have 3 minutes to state your name and address or organization that you represent. Ms. Young.
Well, it's been a long meeting, so I'm a little hesitant to speak now, but I did want to say a few words. I recently turned 80, so I think it was about time for me to get off the commission. I think I was here for 8 years, all in all. A lot's happened over those 8 years and the years leading up to that. I think the first thing I got involved in the town involved you, Demetrius, when we did a petition drive to overturn a decision of the then commission to extend their terms from 2 years to 4 years, including some who had already been elected for 2 years, but they were just going to add 2 more years onto theirs. And we won that petition drive, and it was a lot of work. I remember a bunch of us got together and did that. There have been a lot of things that have gone on over the years. I remember when I first got here and first started coming to the meetings, the thing that struck me most was how much screaming and yelling went on. And so when I became chair, that was my main thing. I wanted to stop the screaming and yelling. I did that by not yelling and screaming myself, and it seemed to work. And I must say I admired how the meeting tonight was run. You all came across as being very professional, and I'm impressed by that. So I'm not going to go through everything that I did when I was on the commission. You know, it's nice that we had our laws and charter published. I worked on that to get that done. And I'll just say again, it's been an honor, and it's been mainly pleasant being on the commission for those 8 years, and I just wanted to say something before I left. So that's it. I'm not going to stay so late for all the meetings in the future. I remember how long they do tend to go, and I feel for you when they do, as they did tonight. But it has been an interesting experience these past 8 years. So good luck to you all.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well. So I don't see any hands raised. Let's see. I don't see anything in the chat. Oh man, let me see. No, I don't see any hand raised, and I don't see anything in the chat. So I think we are at the end. We do need to go into a closed session. Tonight, Mr. Best, we will need you to stay, if you don't mind. And I need to read into the record what we'll be discussing.
Real quick, while you're doing that, once we make the motion, could we take a real quick recess?
Sure, we'll take a 5-minute recess after we go into closed session. So, statutory authority 3-305B to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. Is there a motion to go, and to seek, where's the one about legal counsel? And to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice.
So moved as read.
Thank you, Commissioner Givens.
Brooks, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Brooks. Call for the vote. Ward 1.
Ward 1, aye.
Ward 2, Henderson, aye.
Ward 3, Wheatley, aye.
Ward 4, Gibbons, aye.
At large, Brooks, aye.
Motion passes, no nays or abstentions. It is 9:43 p.m. We are now in closed session. We'll take a 5-minute recess. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.